What's up, y'all? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit, and I am here with the incredible
Rae Khalil, what's up, y'all?
How you doing today, Rae?
I'm doing good. I'm a little hot in this, but I'm doing great.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a great outfit today. I love the greens.
Thank you.
I've been in a big green mood this summer. What's been like your one staple piece of the summer, like your favorite clothing item?
I'm gonna have to go with something that's year-round. They're my glasses, but they transition when it's really hot out.
Ooh, yeah.
So they become really cool, like Matrix-looking sunglasses. I fuck with those.
Yeah. I too had the transition lenses back when I was in like elementary, middle school. I love those things so much.
Yeah.
They're really convenient.
I get teased a lot by my friends because they say it makes me look old, but fuck them.
I think they're great. They're good. I like the frame too. I think it fits your face really well.
Thank you.
It's real nice.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we're out in New York City right now. What is your favorite thing to do when you touch down in New York?
I gotta stop at Hana Foods. Shout out Hana Foods in Brooklyn. Great sandwich spot. I gotta go to New Blue. It's a great place to hang out. Empanada Mama. That's also another one. Shout out my manager T.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a lot of food. I really enjoy biking. So like I love going through Prospect Park.
Yeah.
That e-bike, it's pretty fun.
Bro, the city bike, e-bike. We're some city bike warriors. We city bike everywhere. It's like my favorite way to listen to music is on the city bike for sure.
Dude, same.
What's on your biking playlist?
Oh my gosh. Man, you know what? Funny enough, it was like the opposite vibe. I was just biking the other day and I had like all the Sade songs on, but it's like I'm going so fast paced, but I'm listening to such smooth R&B. It was a really cool juxtaposition.
That's very fun.
Right.
Or sometimes you could be taking like a slow, moody bike ride and then listen to some like real intense shit. You never know what you're gonna get, but
Exactly.
always a good time when you got the headphones on and the bike or like a little speaker. I love biking around with the speaker and making everyone else listen to my soundtrack. Like, y'all know exactly what I'm on. But we had such a fun time a couple days ago at Public Records celebrating Crybaby. We had a really amazing time, and it was so fire seeing you perform that live. How was that for you?
It was really great. I did like my first headlining show in New York a couple years ago at Pianos, so it was kind of full circle to like have another one. Public Records, like Cisco was there. So many friends of mine that have been like seeing me up and coming like in New York. It was dope, man. Doing shows in New York is my favorite. You know? Yeah.
What do you like about the New York crowd?
They actually vibe and actually listen to the music. No shade to LA audiences, but they tend to just
stand there.
right. And I really love crowds that like have no problem like moving a little bit. So
The New York crowds are always like real open-minded, always down to like groove. New York can be a tough crowd still sometimes. I think LA and New York are generally a little bit tougher crowds, like tough to impress. But New York's gonna give you a shot. Like they're gonna give you a little bit more like sympathy.
straight up.
You know, yeah. So I love that you had a good experience out here. And Crybaby is just in general such a beautiful album, and like I love it even more after hearing you perform it. Like these songs are so beautifully crafted. How long did it take for the album to come together? How long were you working on it?
So about 4 years. It's been 4 years since I dropped my last album, For the World, and yeah, I've been working on new music since then. There's a couple songs, including Crybaby, that are about 4 years old. And there's some that were like made like 2 weeks before I had to turn it in.
Nice.
So it's definitely hodgepodge of like where I've been in the past 4 years, and yeah, I think it definitely reflects that.
What like a chapter of your journey as an artist do you feel like Crybaby represents?
You know, even though it's like all this hard work to make an album like this, it still feels like the beginning, which is so funny / annoying because it's like, what? We've been doing this for so long. But no, it's I definitely feel like I'm in a new phase of being like known as an artist, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the dream, someone that makes music. So I'm just riding that wave, and I'm looking forward to what's gonna come next. You know?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of exciting things coming next. I was first introduced to your music back in 2018 with like the Girlfriend Project, because I had a friend who I think worked on that project who I went to high school with.
No way.
Yeah, and so I was listening to that shit like back in 2018, and I've been a fan since then. But it's really cool, like just watching the growth and watching you become more and more forward facing with what you're doing. You know, because I know you also do a lot of really important like songwriting work behind the scenes, and you've contributed so much to music there. But yeah, especially with Crybaby, like seeing you really pop out and seeing people really give you the recognition that I feel like you've deserved for a long fucking time. It's really exciting, especially with Is It Worth It? Like, that song made such a crazy impact. Tell me a little bit about what your experience has been with Is It Worth It and the way that people have been loving it so much.
Yeah, shout out Alicia, the producer on that track. I really think it's like the theme of the album, you know, kind of just like, why do things if I like don't feel that they, you know, resonate with what I feel like I should do, you know? Just kind of having that self-introspection of like, you know, do I want to be here right now? Is this something I want to put my energy towards? And that's kind of the whole album. Like,
Yeah.
like just being vulnerable and opening up with that. But I actually recorded Is It Worth It in New York with Alicia, amazing producer. It was like 3 a.m. We were working on another song, and she was like, "You got one more?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And it was just so organic, and it just felt right. I was in a time in my life where I was kind of just contemplating. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Is this like, you know, this LA scene, is this for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it kind of came about.
It's a real beautiful song, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience with things like that, with like setting boundaries and learning when to say no, because I feel like that's a really difficult part of the creative journey that a lot of us have to grapple with, is learning like what's for me, what do I like want to take on, and where do I want to like remove myself from. Tell me a little bit about how you navigate that.
I know this is gonna sound cheesy, but I think it just takes like time and getting to know yourself. You know, getting to know what you like, what you don't like, and also kind of teetering on that line of like knowing your boundaries, but also being able to explore new spaces and putting yourself out there.
Definitely.
It's very weird to juggle in between those things, but again, with time, I feel like you kind of get like a better understanding of where you fall in, you know?
Definitely, yeah, because it's still important to like push yourself outside your comfort zone and like push your boundaries, but also like know when to like lay off. Do you have like an example of a time in your career where you like pushed a boundary or stepped outside your comfort zone and it ended up paying off?
Yeah, you know, I would definitely say this album, like a year ago, I had like 13 songs. Most of them aren't even on this version. And I thought that that was the album. And, you know, I had mentors and people that I trust be like, these songs are good, but are they great? Like, could you do more? And I'm just like, at the time, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've been working so hard, me and Jared. And yeah, we had to dig deeper. What do I actually want to sing about? What do I actually care about? And I'm just so glad we did that. Digging deep made me find songs like Bittersweet, Hot Track, Is It Worth It, She's a Bore. So yeah, it really worked out.
Yeah, no, definitely worked out. Again, like I can never say enough how beautiful this album is. I think it's gonna age so well. Like you can really feel the attention to detail and all the intention put behind it. I want to talk a little bit about the intro track and kind of who is it speaking on the intro track?
That's AA Rashid. Shout out my mentor.
Oh, crazy.
He usually narrates the intros to Griselda or like West Side Gun projects. And yeah, we're like really good friends, and I just kind of asked him like, can you just maybe vibe on my song? And he was like, no problem.
Yeah.
So it was really awesome.
That's real legendary. Yeah, we're enormous Griselda fans, and I didn't realize that was him. So that's like really cool. That's super fire. He's like, you are witnessing an artistic renaissance. Do you realize what is happening in front of you right now? You are very lucky to be here.
Right.
You know, so I love that. Big shout out to him. And he was talking about the idea of betting on yourself every time. What does that mean to you?
I love that he said that, because that's, again, a very big theme of like what this album represents.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of times throughout this process making the music where I had to 100% bet on myself, regardless of what others were saying, others' opinions, even my mom's opinion. Like, what if you did this? What if you did that? It's like I have to really shut you know, down and really focus in and figure out what is best for the music. You know, and he's just such a great mentor. Usually he like goes into the studio and will just like start saying stuff, but he was like, I want you to ask me a question and I will answer. And I remember being like, oh no, I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
And I think I said something like, yeah, like, how many times do you have to bet on yourself? And then he like just went crazy on that. Yeah.
That was a real good prompt for him, because he absolutely went off on that. Like I really love the way that brings in the album, and it's like just right off the bat after that you go into the music and you can feel like your level of confidence, and like I can hear it coming through in the music, like you did bet on yourself and you did like follow your instinct and make something that felt so true to you. So that was really
kind of answering him in a way, like, you know, he's talking about betting on yourself and all these things, and then I come in on the song like, well, I couldn't worry anyway. Like regardless of what you guys think, like this is what I want to do. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do it.
Absolutely. Along the journey of creating this album, who are some other mentors, people who gave you helpful advice, or just people who helped you through the process?
Definitely Anderson Paak, definitely Tunji, CEO of Def Jam, Crystal Miles, general manager of Ape Shit. Man, so many people helped me continue and stay focused on this project. But I even want to shout out the features. Like Benny Sings, like was such a great person to work with on this song. It Is What It Is. It's kind of an older song, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep it. And he was just like, you know, you're on the right track. Like this is a great one. Let's keep doing it. So yeah, just like there's a lot of people that inspired me or, you know, helped me focus to get, did I answer the question?
You did. You answered the question beautifully. No, it's amazing. It's important to have those kind of people around you who like either help you focus, help you get in the zone, give you advice. One of the features on the album, well, one of the people who actually had his name in the title, Cisco. Yeah. Cisco's one of our really close friends. We love Cisco a lot, and I was so excited to see him on the album. Tell me about collaborating with Cisco and what that was like.
That's my guy, dude. Like I was telling you, the first headline show I did was in Pianos. It was with Cisco, Swank, and Cartoons, who are like my frequent collaborators at this point. And yeah, I think I recorded a couple songs in New York here. And I remember I was at the studio and I called Cisco like, yo, come through, let's make some songs. And we like did that song like 30 minutes, and it just like felt right, and it came together really beautifully. I'm so grateful for him, and he always shows up for me, and I always try to be there for him when he's in Los Angeles, and yeah, he's just a great dude. And Cartoons as well. Those are my guys, and like again, like I came here and did like my first shows with these guys, so to have them on this debut album is like full circle for sure.
That's incredibly full circle. Another collaborator you had on the album who we had at the show was Khalil, who I had never heard of him before. It was my first time seeing him perform, first time being introduced to his music. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Khalil.
He's so dope. 22-year-old kid from Milwaukee. I found him through Instagram. Produces his own music, makes masters, sings, does all the work, and records himself doing his visuals. So I just admire people like that because I'm one track. I can only do one thing at once. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just gravitated towards him. We were in the middle of trying to figure out if one song was going to be on the album or not, and it ended up getting removed. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, I had like 2 weeks left to turn it in. I was like, hey, man, if you got any ideas. And yeah, we did that probably in like a couple days, that song. I just want the world to listen to his music.
Yeah, he was really, really talented, really amazing. So I'm really excited to dive more into his stuff. You were saying like that song took a couple days. The Cisco song took 30 minutes. What's the song on that album that took you the longest to put together?
Oh, man, definitely Hot Track. I started that in, I want to say, December 2022. And I didn't finish it until like October 2023. Yeah. It took a long time. I think the last verse, I think I wrote like 6 different verses. Because I'm like, this is the first song. I gotta do it right. Mean what I say and say what I mean. And so, yeah, there were like so many different iterations of that song. But I think I like the way I finished it. I think it came out the way it was supposed to.
How often are you like kind of just letting a song flow intuitively and going with that first idea, like finishing a song in 30 minutes like the Cisco song? And how often are you like really taking lots of time to piece a song together?
My cheat code is that I use like voice memos. So like the number one rule for me, I have to like really love the music. And then if the music is, I'm rocking with it, then I'll just like press voice memo and just spew out gibberish, like blah, 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 blah. And then listen back and like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then maybe write lyrics to that. And that, varies. Like that could take like a day, that could take like a couple weeks, Maybe I have this idea, I come back to it in a couple months where I feel more inspired to work on it. There's not a time limit into making the song. Like when the song's done, when I feel like it's done, it's done. And then, it just depends on the feel of it, Are you ever like an overthinker or a perfectionist, or are you pretty good at like knowing when to be done? I would say perfectionist for sure, but I'm like starting to like get better with that. Like just let it go, just drop it, just put it out there. There's probably like every song on the album, there's like 30 different versions. Maybe, I don't know if there's ever gonna be like a B-side, like alternative versions released, but I would love to hear that. Hell yeah. Funny enough, Carpinteria with Cartoons was originally a slow song, produced by my homie Jared Rubens. And when I was in the studio with Cartoons, we were working on it, I was like, oh, this kind of fits the song. So I just moved them over, and it worked out really well. Yeah. It worked out.
No, it worked out beautifully. And while Crybaby is definitely the star of the show, I do want to talk about the NxWorries album just a tiny bit. That was such an incredibly major moment for us as NxWorries fans. Me and Quincy are probably like 2 of the largest NxWorries nerds in the entire world. I got the NxWorries X tattooed on the day of the album release. Yes. I'm deeply obsessed. And it was so cool to see you on that album, not once but twice. I was overjoyed. Tell me about how those songs came together and just what it means for you to be on that album.
Oh, man, I think I'm right there with you and Quincy. Being a NxWorries fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm number 3 in that group. No, dude, it was just such a blessing. Walk On By, I think that was the one I did first. I just happened to be there. I think I was at the studio, and Tebe and AP, they're working on the song, and I'm just sitting there and just vibing out. And This was kind of one of the first times where I'm singing something that I didn't write. So I'm listening to Anderson, he's singing that part, and he looks at me, he's like, you do it. I'm like, I don't know, it's 5 in the morning, my voice sounds a little crazy. And he's like, just do it. And I recorded it, and I remember being like, can I do it again? The perfectionist. And he was like, nope, we got it. So, you know, what you hear on the song is like, I just did that one take. It was like, oh my God. But, you know, people really like it. But I'm like, I feel like I sound like Justin Bieber on that song. My voice is a little raspy. But it's grown on me.
You sound great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you sound really great.
But I really love Out the Way. I mean, I feel like that was like my chance to like get a verse on there. And I had to fight for it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's tough being in the room with all these amazing creative people. You got to really work for your spot, you know? So Absolutely. I feel like I did, and I'm just glad people fuck with that one.
You showed out when you came up on stage at Public Records and you were like, you got Out the Way. I was like, it's already loaded. It's already ready to go. That was a really exciting moment. And outside of the songs you're on the album, what's your favorite track on Why Laud?
Okay, it's still Move On, which is so crazy because I was there when they were making it. And originally, I'm going to give you a tidbit. I don't know if I should, but fuck it. 86 Century and Move On were originally one song. So I remember getting that little bit and having it move into that next one. But I like that they cut it because it still runs the same if you listen to it all Definitely. The way through. But yeah, Move On has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time hearing that song. It was such a beautiful experience. And like you said, like the sequencing of it is really beautiful, the way it flows. The whole album, and NxWorries does it every time, like is sequenced so perfectly. Like I can't listen to one song without going to listen to the rest of the album.
Exactly, and I've really tried to emulate that in the best way I know how, which is just try to make cohesive albums. You know what I mean? So I was very inspired by how Andy makes his albums and the placement and all this, how cohesive it is and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like the sequencing on Crybaby also feels very intentional and really well crafted. So I could tell you took notes from that.
She gets it.
Yeah,
she gets it.
We see it. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from your time working with Anderson Paak? Like, what do you think is the most valuable thing you've learned from that relationship?
It's definitely tatted on him. It's trust your gut. You know, I'm deciding if I should get one like that, maybe small. But that is our mantra. I think stick with what you feel is right. You know what I mean? And be intentional. Yeah. I think that's another one. Just being intentional about what you're doing, that shines through. Rather than being like, you know, notice me. I tried to just be like, you know, just fucking listen to the songs and the rest will come.
100%. You got to put good music at the center of everything. Let the music speak, and that's what's going to bring you like longevity and, you know, like also a genuine community who actually rocks with you for what you make, you know?
Right. That's the dream, I think I can say as an artist. All the other artists out there, it feels really good to be recognized by your peers and people that really care about music as well, like yourself.
Yeah, you've earned that shit. We're so in awe of everything you've built. I could go on forever about it. Anyway, I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to let Quincy jump in here and hit a little Q's Q real quick. Quincy, come on over here.
What up? This is Quincy with That Good Shit. This is Q's Q. I'm with Rae Khalil. And Rae, I really just want to say that like this album made me and all the sensitive souls out there feel like very heard and like acknowledged. And so I want to know, I mean, kind of assuming that you're one of us on this one, what is your like self-care process? And like, how did you implement that when you were like creating the album or just like putting together the songs on the album?
This is such a dumb answer, but it really is just smoking a spliff and blasting music out of my speakers. That is how I take care of myself. Going through beats, smoking a little bit, vibing out, writing songs. That's my favorite thing to do. And recently I just got a dog. We go on walks. I enjoy that very much.
What kind of dog?
Just got back to Tess. Okay. She is a toy poodle mixed with Chihuahua. And she looks like a mini golden retriever. I'll send pics somewhere, yeah.
Bro, yeah, I need those bad. What? Poodle Chihuahua mix is crazy.
Her name is Lupita Louisa Johnson. And no, she doesn't have Instagram. We're not doing that, but.
Lupita Louisa Johnson fan page loading soon. Right. Moderated by me, probably. So if you want to see pictures, just make sure to tap in Lupita Louisa Johnson on Instagram.
Right, the full name.
Yeah. But that's so beautiful. You know, going on walks is definitely huge. I mean, cheeky spliff and just like vinyl is like always the play too. Hey. I mean, you mentioned like city biking too. I just feel like also being outside, just like in the sun every once in a while, just to like reset, remind yourself that like being in nature is like where you belong is good too, you know?
100%. About city bikes, I tell my girlfriend this all the time. Like, we want to move to New York pretty bad, and I think that's going to be the next move. But every time I envision myself, like, living here, it's always just, like, on a city bike. I'm just going through the streets with my music on. So that is also my safe space as well.
Annabelle mentioned it before, like, I hold the City Bike Warrior badge. Like, I would tat it on me if I could, you know? Like, I feel bad. I got, like, my little clip-on speaker and everything. Ask Annabelle. I be acting dangerous on there once the right tunes come on, you know? Like.
You know what I don't like? We just did this yesterday. We were in downtown Manhattan, and there's not that many bike lanes, and then we have to bike on the bus only lane. That was terrifying. I was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool on that.
For me, I see that as a challenge. I'm like, well, this bus better not catch up, you know? Like, what has been your favorite place to bike in New York since you've been here?
I was saying Prospect Park earlier. That's one. But I think I was in, I want to say Gowanus once, and I just biked through the whole, it was like near the bridge, and I was just like in that town. I was like, oh my God, it's so pretty over here. But yes, I enjoy biking through Brooklyn a lot. It's very cathartic.
Combining that with self-care and just like the intentions that went into the album, Annabelle mentioned it earlier, it's just like it's impossible to talk about the process of the album without mentioning Anderson Paak. And Tunji as well. The way that I kind of saw it was just like Anderson Paak was kind of like the Quincy Jones of this one, you know? And so like, what did that look like when it was actually like time to like sit down and like sequence the album and like go through the songs and like be like, okay, this is the one that we want. Let's edit this one, change it up. What was that process like? Was it just you? Was it you and Anderson, or like what was going on?
Well, that's like my favorite thing to do is like make albums. Like ever since when I started like with Girlfriend, I think you can go back and kind of feel or hear like a cohesiveness between each track. So that's just something that I love to do. I think he more so was the Quincy Jones guy in the sense of like, try working with this person, try using more instruments rather than all sample heavy. Just kind of giving me tips here and there of like how to get out of my comfort zone. One thing that used to confuse the shit out of me when he'd be like, your songs are like vibes, like you need songs, like stop making vibes. And I'm like, what does that mean, you know? But I really get it now. It's like, okay, like, you know, stream of consciousness is fun, but maybe like try to give it more structure, you know? Maybe like it doesn't have to be so formulaic, but it could have a bridge and a chorus, you know what I mean? I used to do songs where it's like, it's 4 verses straight, no hook. Like, you know,
all bars, no hook. Just a 4-bar loop, and I'm spitting over for 3 minutes.
Which is great, and it's so fun to do too. But I think when you have a goal in mind of like, I want an audience to, you know, gravitate towards this type of music and make it feel like easy listening, formulas kind of help that. But I definitely would say that I'm such a nerd to where the track listing, I usually come up with the track listing first before the songs. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. I'm like, this looks good. This feels right. And then with time, it changes, obviously.
And then bringing it back to Public Records, Brooklyn show, like being vulnerable on this album and just like, again, like kind of knowing all that we know of like what went into the intentions of the album. What was your feelings as you were performing and like as you were like singing the song in front of everyone and like seeing their reactions? Like what was going through your head that day?
Don't mess up. I think that was the number one. Really listen to your vocals. No, in all seriousness, I would say, I think I just wanted the songs to be felt, so my kind of thought process was just do the best you can do right now. That was my first time performing those songs. So I think it was a little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitters, but also me trying to just like get back into like just focus and have fun. That's all that matters, you know?
You looked like you had a lot of fun on stage too, and I feel like that was like one of the most entertaining parts about just like watching you up there, because it just felt like, you know, we were all just like in our bedroom together listening to the album, like having a great time.
That means a lot. I mean, that's kind of like the message I want to convey of like feeling like this is an album that you feel you can listen to alone, you can listen to with a group of people, but it's like yours, you know, it's like a personal thing. You know what I mean?
It's like a shared personal experience.
Right.
And then another performer, like in addition to Cisco, like Annabelle mentioned, like that's the dog, you know, super excited to see him on this album too. Like I love that song. But I want to know what you thought about Kelly Moonstone's performance. She went on that day as well, right before Khalil. Every time I see her rap, perform, sing, like, it absolutely blows me away. It's just, like, effortless with her. And I want to know what you thought.
Shout out Kelly Moonstone. I thought she was absolutely terrific. I really enjoyed the last song she did. I think it was called To the Moon. But I really enjoyed her performance. I'm a sucker for people that can sing and rap. I do it. So it's like to hear other people do it, it's like, yes, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
She's super talented. And we already talked about connecting, maybe doing some music, so.
Yo, we need that Kelly, Rae song, tape, album, just like discography,
Right.
what, like new duo? Like,
Right, that could be a thing. I like that.
is there anything that you want to say to anyone, like last learning messages, anything about the album that you want to say before we get out of here?
Please listen to it in order. And then, live with the songs, pick whichever ones you like the most, and then rock with those. But I do feel like there is a nice underlying message and tone when it's played through first to last. Yeah, I dedicate this album to my family. We had a lot of loss this year. And I just want to do my best and do great shows and put on and represent my family. So thank you, everyone.
We really appreciate you. We see you doing your best and honestly just like overachieving at every single front. Like honestly, like I feel like you're downplaying yourself. Like your performances are amazing. Crybaby is amazing. Like all the collaborations, everything that went into it. Even if everyone out there doesn't know it, even if even like me and Annabelle don't know it, it was really felt throughout the album. And I feel like that's the #1 thing. I feel like no one listens to albums like front to back anymore either. People just like shuffle albums, which is like insane to me. Cause I collect vinyls too, so it's just like why like that's not, you can't even like do that. Like what are we even doing like shuffling the album? So like front to back, like especially with the AA Rashid, like I remember I heard that I was like, like I didn't even need to look at the track list. I was like, I know who this is for sure, So like definitely front to back listen.
Well, thank you so much.
That good shit, Rae Khalil. Shout out everybody who was involved. Cisco, Kelly, Khalil. Shout out Anderson Paak, Ape Shit, Def Jam, Def Jam Jinx, We out of this one. Shout out Annabelle, that good shit. Quincy, we out of here, bro.